80 some miles down, I think it was, and these transport pins are still loose. That cylinder did not give an inch. I don't know, I'll have to come back to you on my pin number. I know that's sad. I'll just edit it in here to where it looks like I remember it. So I'm gonna jump up in the cab, make sure all these are going the right way, make sure our up and down's right and our fold's going the right way. Switch it around if we need to, but other than that, we're about ready to hit the field. All right guys, so we had our field day Friday, had a lot of customers visit us from around the state, and what we're getting ready to do is go deliver a 5200. We had a customer come up from down around the Columbus, Ohio region, and he said, Adam, I need a way to manage my corn stalk residue, which of course was the topic of the field day. And so we showed him the 5200. This grower currently owns a 2200. That's his main finishing tool ahead of the planter. But he said, Adam, I need something to better manage these stalks. They're so strong, they're so fluffy. I need something to engage. I need something to lift and bury, but I still need it very smooth and manageable on top. What do you have for me? So at the field day, we ran the 5200 for him. He stayed after, and we one-on-one talked about the 5200, the horsepower required, and how that would work on his farm. And so we ran it, and then we finished it with a 22 to do a real life scenario of what his farm would look like. 5200 in corn stalks, and then in the spring he's going to finish this with his 2200 that he owns, that he purchased from us a couple years ago. And so he was on his way home, he called us Friday, said, hey Adam, we're going to buy that 5200, I need you to get it down here to us. So here we are Monday, we're going to get ready to get this Dodge fueled up. Jesse and I are headed down, and we're going to make the delivery.
I think I've got one of the magnetic bases in my truck.
Perfect. Well, we've got her all hooked up, and we're gonna start making our way south. Again, this is a 16-foot 5200. This one's got hydraulic down pressure on the wings. It's got, you know, of course, all the features of a standard 5200 Enforcer. You've seen this one on YouTube like crazy, whether it's at Larson's or anyone else across the country. They're super popular up there in the Minnesota, Iowa range, because they're so good at that corn on corn situation, or just so good on bearing residue, period. So we've added a lot of them to our arsenal, and then moved them on, of course, to farmers who are looking for something like this. So let's get headed south. We're gonna get this thing in the field, get it all set up for Chris, and get it ready to roll. Let's go. Well, we made it. We're down here in Lockbourne, would be the actual town. And we caught a beautiful day. I mean, sun shining, not a cloud in the sky. I think rain's coming tomorrow, and temps and fall and winter is just, we're just nose diving into it now. I think we're one of the last days. But if you peek inside that building there, you can see his original Salford. That's his 2200. I remember pulling that thing down here and shot a video and stuff of it right out here in this field behind these bins. That might be the same field we go in today, I don't know. But we're going to get this thing unhooked. Tractor's sitting right over here. We're going to get the tractor on it, head to the field, help him get it set, get his down pressure right, his harrows, and just make sure that he's 100% comfortable with how to run it and all that. And so we made it. We're here. We're going to get set for him. Let's go hook up the tractor. So we've got our red hoses, which is our raise and lower. I always put that in number 1. Got our wing fold in number 2. And because this has hydraulic wing down pressure regulated right here, that number 2 function is going to be in constant flow. We're going to put it in about 30% of flow. In constant, that's going to push hydraulic pressure to those cylinders and keep them weighted down all the time. Number 3 then is our hydraulic fore and aft, and we're going to control that when we get to the field to see where we need to run it based on a couple things. So I'm going to jump up in the cab, make sure all these are going the right way, make sure our up and down's right and our fold's going the right way. Switch it around if we need to, but other than that, we're about ready to hit the field. So this is something kind of impressive. 80 some miles down, I think it was, and these transport pins are still loose. That cylinder did not give an inch, but we've got to pull our transport pins. I've got all the hydraulics hooked up there. I like where the harrows are for now. We'll see how it does. But we'll get these transport pins pulled, we'll jump in, get it unfolded, and we'll get it dirty. All right guys, Adam Fennig here, Fennig Equipment. We're here with Chris Pence. And Chris, it took us a while to get here today. We started this project at like 8 or 9 this morning. It's probably 1:30 by now. We made it down here with the 5200. And Chris, you were at our field day there last week. Walk us through where this 5200 kind of fits and what it's doing on your farm.
Well, the biggest thing we'd have is we have a few fields that are really good corn after corn. Most people around this area is a corn bean rotation. We found that we can really grow some good corn in certain fields. And a lot of problems we have is just so much residue. I don't want any. I want the ground black come springtime, I don't want any corn stalks. I don't want any to suck up the nitrogen. And I just need a good way to bury it. We've chisel plowed in the past. That means multiple passes in the spring. And I'm trying to find a tool where I can hit it now, let it break down, bury it, take out the compaction, and hit it one time with the Salford, the 2200, and plant.
You know, as you saw up there at the field day, this tool is kind of that ultimate incorporator. It's extremely popular with guys wanting to bury corn stalks, manure, whatever it is. It turns it black, leaves it smooth. But would you say kind of the icing on the cake for you with this tool was the 2200 in the shed, being that you can just tickle that in the spring?
Yes, I really like the 2200 because one is the maintenance is easy. You can go fast. You can throw dirt around just enough to make a great seed bed. You know, it's very user friendly. But yeah, that started the Salford love, we'll say, because it's a great tool. I've had the first problem with it, and I don't see any problems with the rest of this lineup.
And that's kind of what we're getting into here more and more is, of course, we're selling guys their very first Salford, but we're seeing more of this type of combination, a 5200 and a 22, or an HSD and a VRT, or, you know, you name it, a cultivator and an HSD. We're seeing a lot of those. So a lot of guys are wanting to do more and more with one tool, but when you can have a tool that really hones in on its certain own avenue and its channel, you gotta own those things separately and have their own roles. So we're down here in Lockbourne, Ohio. Beautiful day, as we said. We got it hooked up to his tractor. We're gonna head to the field, get this thing dirty on his ground, get it set, and so let's go jump in the cab. got her set. We're up here in the cab. You can see it running behind us, but we've got Chris here in the cab with us. He's guiding us here, straight and narrow path. But Chris is a long lost fraternity brother.
I got PIN number. Got you by like a
400.
What's your PIN number?
I don't, 1187. Or,
what is it? Mine's 1394. You're a higher number than me.
18.
Jeez, I just turned 50.
I don't know. I'll have to come back to you on my PIN number. I know that's sad. I'll just edit it in here to where it looks like I remember it. But we're down here in basically just straight south of Rickenbacker Airport, right?
Yep.
And right by the casino, if any of you know where that is. But we're doing some tillage, and I want to kind of back up and tell the story of, or I'm going to let Chris do it, of how in the world did you even get connected with Fennig equipment in the first place?
I had my technology guy, does my precision, I was asking him for better tillage tools. I was running a vertical disc, and I just didn't like it. The biggest thing I didn't like was I kept breaking the gangs, and I couldn't keep it level. So in his conversation, he had told me to look at Salford and call Adam, so I did, and he got me hooked up with a 2200. Really, really liked it. And then we looked at a Ripper. I think we looked at about a 28 applicator, and they've been very, very, very good to work with.
Yeah, so that journey started probably, what, 2 or 3 years ago I brought that thing down?
Right, yeah.
I remember we demoed it right there in front of those grain bins. We ran it. I really liked it, and yeah, so he owns a Salford, so current Salford owner. So now let's fast forward to today. What got us to where we are today?
Well, the corn after corn for me is a big deal. We have a lot of success growing corn in this area. We have good bean ground, but there's just a certain fields that are just kick butt corn after corn. So I need to bury the residue, and it just took me forever. I was using a turbo chisel, and it was making it rough. It did a pretty good job of burying things, and then I'd have to hit it twice with the disc. I'd have to hit it once with the Landall, the disc, and then I'd come back a couple weeks later and hit it with the Salford. And it did a nice job, but the problem is I don't want to hit things twice with the disc. I want to hit it once and go.
Sure.
So I was looking for a tool to bury stuff, make it black, make it look good, make it break down, and be off to the races. This field we're in right now, it averaged like 242, so there's a lot of residue. I use long season varieties. I grow a lot of channel. It has very good standability, and good corn means a lot of residue. So I gotta get rid of it, and it's becoming a real problem trying to get rid of the stuff. I use a devastator to knock the stalks down, which really helps to break things down. We'll spray a biological on it to help break it down. But all that being said, and this will really make what I want in the spring.
Yeah, so we work hard all summer creating this residue, and then here we are this fall trying to manage it. So basically what got you here to this 5200 is efficiency, a need for efficiency and minimal passes. And that's what we preach about on the 5200 is how well it buries, but also how well it finishes. That's kind of the secret behind it, is how well it finishes. And I know I could shoot all the videos in the world today, but you won't be able to fully resonate or see how well this thing is finishing here in this high residue environment. It's doing a phenomenal job.
Really nice.
There's
really
a little
nice.
bit of moisture here. It looks very good. So now you are not only a Salford owner, but a 2-time Salford owner. And it's funny, I mentioned earlier, you said, are these greasable bearings? What's the service life on them? I said, well, it's the same service. You need to change them just as frequently as you've been changing your 2200 bearings, which is never. So I tell guys all the time, the bearings, they can be intimidating to people when they first look at them and say, wow, that's a lot of bearings. But I'm telling you, and Chris could tell you too, you don't touch them. So let's move on to, we know why you chose Salford, but you were up at our field day the other day. We sat down, we had vegetable soup and grilled cheese.
Delicious grilled cheese.
Awesome food. Why Fennig equipment? What's different?
Well, the first thing is I like that they're small. They're very, very, very nice people. I like the fact that he was a fraternity brother.
That certainly helps. Alpha, Gamma, Sigma. We better say that too.
So we, that.
But people already know. They can tell.
We can tell because of our awesomeness. We're 15 years apart, but you still have that little brotherhood. And I always like to deal with my fraternity brothers. So that was something. But at the end of the day, you got to get what you want.
Sure.
And I wanted something good. And they're a small company. They're not they're not pushy. They're a long way away. I mean, it was a 2.5 hour drive for me in a pickup. It had to be a 4 hour drive for them hauling this thing. But the nice thing is I don't need them because if nothing breaks, but I did have some parts I needed from my applicator, and they shipped them real quick, and it was no big deal. So just, you know, they're very easy to deal with. They've got everything you need. You know, they're innovative. They think of a lot of things outside the box. Kind of some of the stuff they brought to market, like, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, well, we're always listening to the farmer, and that's a big thing I talk about all the time. Is, you know, they'll talk to you and they'll tell you what you need, and it's our job to fill that void. So we appreciate working with you, and it's always fun coming down here, and because I know what you're after, I know what you need. You know, like everyone, you're busy, you need something that works well, and does it right the first time. And so that's what we've tackled here with the 5200. So yeah, what else you got? Anything?
This does look awesome.
Yeah, when we're done here, we'll jump out.
I'm not even getting paid to do this either.
We'll jump out and we'll do some digging. I'm gonna try my best to show you guys how well and finished and mulched this stuff is. It looks phenomenal.
This is tile ground, but we're pretty wet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's doing a really nice job. I mean, it's not wet enough to get it on the tires, but
right.
It's really making a beautiful seat bed.
Yeah, I haven't seen this kind of moisture back home in a long time, but yeah, this is a 340 tractor on a 16 foot. We're going, I don't know our exact depth, I'd have to get out and look, but we're going 8.5-ish mile an hour. So we're moving right along, covering some acres. So yeah, even with a 16 foot tool on a 340 row crop, dualed up all around, we're getting it done. So beautiful day, November 17th, I believe. And we've got Jesse on the drone. We're gonna get out, shoot some footage here, and we'll let you guys go. But that's what we're doing here at the cab near Lockbourne, Ohio, Rickenbacker Airport with Chris Pence. All right, guys, we're out here in the field running the 5200, and again, this is high residue stalks, and the 5200 is laying it down like it's supposed to, turning it black, chewing up those stalks and getting them buried. Now, I talk about the finish of the 5200 all the time, and it's going to be really hard to replicate what I can visualize here with the camera, but as you look across this, you can look and see how manageable this is. I mean, that's a pretty darn big clod for what we're dealing with today. Overall, that's extremely manageable. I mean, it's gonna break down into nothing. Most of this stuff is chewed up to the point to where it's very crumbly. But I got a little area here that I dug into that I want to dissect a little bit. And what I'm wanting to show you is how we've got corn residue from the bottom all the way to the top. And the reason we're able to do that is the length of the tool. It gets tossed and mixed and thrown, and you end up with stalks and residue at every layer of that point. And so as I dig into this side profile over here, you can see we're finding stalks, evidence of residue all the way down here at the very bottom. This one I just pulled out from probably 6 inches deep. And if we cut in this way, we're unveiling more and more stalk residue into this profile. Right here, if I dig, look at that. Just dug up a lot of residue. Now that, you look here, it's very well buried. It's very, very sized, and it's pinned down. And look at that, you can see that as I cut here into this profile. If I just grab a handful, I'm grabbing residue. That's the beauty, and that's the secret of the length of the tool. You've got blades that are thrown this way, blades that are stacking on top, and you end up with just layers and layers of residue. And what this means is that this stuff is going to break down. This particular grower is going corn back to corn. We have to get those stalks buried. We have to get rid of them as soon as we can. This field was harvested mid-October. It's mid-November now, so they have had some weather. He does have the Yetter Devastator, so he's doing things right as far as on the corn head. And now he's doing it with the 5200. But if you can look across there, look at how flat and baby butt smooth this is. We don't have ridges left and right. We don't have huge boulders out here that we have to make 4 passes to break down. You heard Chris talk in the video. His goal with this 5200 was efficiency. He was making 2 to 3 passes to bury and then 2 passes to finish. He's now down to 1 pass to bury, 1 pass to finish. He buries with the 5200, finishes with the Salford 2200, and is loving every bit of it. Whenever we talk about residue management, it's key to get in here as fast as you can, get it buried, and get it laid off smooth and level. Now, another thing that he mentioned, and I've seen a lot, is when you're using a chisel, not only do you have to drive pretty slow, he's rolling along at 8.5 miles an hour right there, and he doesn't have a shank. So the beauty of what he's doing here is he's managing the top 6 inches of this profile. What's important about that top 6 to 8 inches? That's where your sweet spot soil is. We don't want to reach down here to 12 inches and bring up that dirt that has no business being on top. We want it to stay down, and we want to manage the good stuff up top. Not only that, but when you're running a chisel point deep in the fall, you run the risk of sinking with your planter then in the spring, and you can't get out there as soon as what you can with something like this. So we're leaving a firm bottom underneath, a flat bottom, and we're mixing really well. So we're loving everything about this 5200 here today. Beautiful skies, beautiful weather here in November, and a great day to get out and smell the soil turning behind that thing. So that's what we're doing today. Jesse and I started this journey early this morning. The customer came last Friday to our field day. I said, Jesse, let's go deliver this thing. We got it hooked up, we got it set right. We're making it do what he wanted it to do, and now we're headed back home. So we appreciate you guys watching. Be sure to leave a comment and talk to us about what you're seeing on your farm. Is it wet where you're working? Do you need help burying these corn stalks? What are you using? What are you seeing? And talk to us about it. We'd appreciate the feedback, and be sure to subscribe. We're working on that, getting those subscriptions up there, and we're well on our way. So thanks for tuning in.